Welcome back to Tech, Tesla, and Trends. Tonight, we're looking at Module 8, Knowledge. You might think that this is where everything would begin, but in many ways, it's a refinement of the process that is necessary for keeping the edge to begin with. So, looking at this, application first is the first area of interest. So what have you done for me? That question that was asked of Agarwal when he was complaining about Elon driving a wedge between management and the pampered Twitter employees of the Twitter stock era. That question is not without merit, and it is one that is based on what you know and what you understand. So this is at the core of a question of what can you do? The knowledge that you possess has to lead to action that is productive. It comes down to being willing to work hard at what you're doing. I think Elon even called it at one point maniacally engaged or maniacally active or something like that. But the choice of words was maniacally. And I think that is telling, because you must act. You have to move forward with a passion that it is necessary to do something and use your knowledge to accomplish the task. If you're not able to do that, it's not that Elon doesn't want you around. It's that he doesn't need the skills or the things that are in your head. And he's simply seeking those best people, as we discussed in the resource portion of this. And this is a refinement to that of doing matters more than theory. Now, there's plenty of people that'll talk theory all day, and they can have a great understanding of the details. But in this case, what Elon's looking for are coders for Twitter. And in the case of Tesla, there's a need for AI and robotics and car design, more electric motor, battery, all of that stuff. But who knows what else Tesla will dive into. And I suspect at some point we'll see some need for aeronautics, though that might come through the SpaceX realm. I'm not sure. I see an electric jet somewhere in the future. That line from Iron Man is not a joke. I think that's a reality. At some point, there will be an electric jet. Vertical takeoff, landing, cruise at high altitude. Yeah, that's in Elon's mind. It's happening. And looking at the things that he's looking for are people who understand how to take a vision and act upon it, turn it into something that is more than just words. He's looking for action, looking for content, looking for boots on the ground, so to speak, that actually impact the mission. So the next point along that line that is logically connected is that pedigree doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what school you graduated from. It doesn't matter what your degree is if you can do something and legitimately do it and execute with passion and foresight. That is where you will set yourself apart. Those folks that are striving for the upper echelon of productivity and completion, those folks can do and come to work for Elon at any point from what I've observed. But you have to be committed to that work ethic and to learning and becoming more each day. You can't just sit back on your laurels and assume that it's sufficient. That's really, you know, the action, the execution of your knowledge is what matters. Can you teach yourself to learn something more? I mean, how did Elon learn rocket science? He didn't get a formal training on that. Pick up a book and read it, learned it, experimented upon it. Those are the things that matter. Being willing to take knowledge that you seek from either a book or from other classes or however you acquire that knowledge and execute on it. That is the knowledge that Elon is looking for. And I see that as being one of the key points of how he differentiates that, the use of that knowledge from other companies, from other ventures, because it is all about productive forward motion. I think about one of my boys as he was learning to walk. He didn't toddle. It was stand and throw the body forward and run, essentially. It wasn't controlled in any way, shape, or form. It was forward motion, forward focused, and he got to where he wanted to go, where he fell, and he picked himself back up, and he did it again. This is I don't know if it's the right focus, but it strikes me as that maniacal focus or that maniacal action. Move forward fast. Test it. Try something new. If it fails, no big deal. Move forward with what you know. Act again. Move forward with what you know. And this thread is something that should seem kind of familiar, because that leads us back to Module 2, Step 2, which is that rapid action now. Test your solution, iterate as required, and never give up. This is that same thing with knowledge. Learn what you don't know, go learn it, come back, test it, iterate on it, and move forward. This module of knowledge is more about execution of knowledge than the acquisition of knowledge. So looking at it also takes us to what I jokingly call the spice must flow, is that your ideas have to have some value. Just the stupid stuff or asking the same dumb questions over and over again, as some of the Twitter employees did in some of the Q&As from, just that's not going to cut it. Asking over and over again, I still want to work from home, when it's been made abundantly clear that you're going to come into the office because you can communicate better with the people around you and to work better with them as a team. Asking, well, what if I want to work from home, or I have a meeting with somebody at another facility? That wasn't the point. That wasn't the statement. The statement was you will work in the office. And that failure to recognize and read the room is a component of your ability to understand knowledge and to utilize it for the good of the company. And looking at the whole spice must flow, are you a creator or a manager in how you act? Because creators are continually tweaking and turning the knobs and levers and assist and working to figure it out, to make it a little bit better, or see what happens if I do this or that. Whereas a manager is like, hey, I've got this book, this checklist, we're going to follow this, we've got these goals, we're going to execute on this, and don't do anything off to the side because we don't know how that will impact the numbers. That's not what's being looked for. It's not executing upon the knowledge. Now, there are times and places for checklists, so to speak. But that is not the standard operating procedure. If my reading of how things change rapidly, there's a process, yes, but there's no checklist in the you have to do it this way or that. It's more of work with what you know, iterate effectively and quickly, make it happen. Because ultimately, the final point there for the whole spice must flow idea is innovation is required. Innovation is the spice of every Elon company. He's seeking the next revolutionary idea, the next revolutionary change that he can bring forward and push up the exponential curve. That is ultimately the focus and the mindset. And the proof is in the innovation. So whether you have the knowledge or not is very quickly determinable by the actions you have. Are you innovating? Are you executing on the knowledge you have? If you are, and you do that consistently, then perhaps that is a place, working for Elon is a place you would be comfortable and able to effectively operate. Well, for tonight, I think that will cover it. I'm sure there's some other aspects of this knowledge module that some of you think I've either got right or wrong or whatever it might be. I'd love to hear your comment, your take. Down in the comments, we can carry on this conversation there. And we'll talk to you again on another day.